This is Church of Uganda Family TV, enriching lives.
Family Hour, empowering families one episode at a time. Together, we build strong, healthy, and thriving families with our daily dose of inspiration and expert insights on topics that matter, like education and career growth.
A child may be a good entrepreneur, but you're forcing the child to make sure that she passes sciences in order for her to be a what? A nurse.
Family health.
No one should one day tell you that, hey, since you have diabetes, you should not take Caro. That's a lie. There's what you call portion control.
Finance and wealth.
Keep track of your spending. And part of the spending, of course, as we said, be able to separate wants from needs. That's secondary.
Leadership and governance.
There are people who take on the political aspect and try to water down important, significant decisions we leaders take for the good of this country.
Not forgetting parenting.
Now you're raising kids or children who are in a totally different time. You get it. Those days your mother would just give you an eye and you know this is a problem.
Hey, they are visitors.
And it's just there are visitors
and
around.
Mom gives you this eye, you know?
Yes.
Catch more of this every Monday to Friday at 9 p.m.
Welcome back from that short break. This is the Family Hour here at Church of Uganda Family TV, and in case you've just joined in today, we are discussing how digital addiction is affecting children. In the studio, I'm with Dr. Theo and Owen Mwesigye. Before we went for a break, they were actually sharing great insights on this very topic. And now I will take it from the Family Hour TV show ambassadors group. They had a few to share on this topic, and I'll pick two and then we continue with the show. Mr. Masiko says to us that parents are the first culprits in this matter. What example are we setting for our children? That's a question. He also notes that every good thing has a bad side to it. We need awareness to be able to mitigate the bad effects on us and our children. And I will also pick from Ida Nyamwiza, who says that social media has stolen our time as parents. We are no longer having the time for our children. We reach home and we are all over our phones. Through social media, children have been exposed to material that is not healthy for them. It has only exposed them to perverted human beings, and as parents, we need to be alert. Oh my God. Well, I think you can hear from the viewer out there. This is the contribution, and I'll continue at the end of the show. Towards the end, I'll pick more. I'll get back to you, my guests here in the studio. How is technology addictive?
One, to understand the addictive nature of technology is that you go back to the developers. Now, social media and technology devices are developed from the psychology aspect. They are basically designed to be interactive and engaging with the users. Now, when you go to that level, you get to understand that from the design perspective, it follows basically how your brain works. AI is typically your brain.
I know. That's
now,
very sad.
These devices are also engineered to fulfill your psychological and emotional needs. Now, with that, it means that at the end of the day, this device must interact with things that you don't see. It interacts with your emotions, interacts with your personality, interacts with so many other things. So that's the background of all the development side of technologies. Now, when you go to social media, for example, there is something we call, it brought instant gratification and reward system. You upload the photo, before you know it, it has 100 likes. And you can't wait to see how it reaches 200 likes.
Exactly.
Now, that instant gratification, in here, you would perform well in class and you wait for your teacher to mark you. and after marking you, takes a process, tell you, by the way, you're the first in mathematics. And then they reward you with a cup or a plate or anything.
Yes.
But here, gratification is instant. People will like you with basing on how you've interacted with social media or not like, and they say it there and then. Now, that instant gratification reward system has come with a generation of social media and technology. The other bit is that it comes in that reward system. If you've played games like Candy Crush, have you?
Yeah.
Have you played the games like Candy Crush? I know many there are addicts, even adults. Candy Crush is gamification.
Yeah.
Now, different interactions have been made in a way that it feels like a game. I'll give you one that most people don't easily think it's a game. TikTok challenges. TikTok challenges, you look at its creativity, but you want to know who can do the next better challenge. So it turns into a competition. Now, the moment it turns into competition, it means you're feeding your reward system. Now, how these likes, comments, shares, reactions that come from your online crowd and community rewards you. You feel, I'm okay. Now that brings in the effect of the brain and why it relates exactly with the effect that drugs of abuse give, the rewarding system that is called dopamine release. Every time you see a like, you feel your brain is rewarded. So it triggers your brain to feel that reward system, the dopamine is released. Now, the more you get engulfed in social media and technology, the more you feel, I can't do away with these likes. So now likes have become our reward system. The other bit is in seasons. You're doing gaming, teenage boys, but you can't wait until you be the first. In FIFA, there is a FIFA competition in soccer where they are playing all over. There is as many games you can think about. And now that is the younger people that know them better than even the old ones. They are even clueless on these games. The other bit that I will give you an example is fear of missing out. Now this mostly is affecting teenage girls. They are growing up and they're thinking, my friend has an Instagram account. I don't have. My friend is having a PlayStation. They're talking about over P what, over. You're clueless. You're at school and you're clueless. When you come back home, your kid is putting on pressure. I need a PlayStation.
Exactly.
That fear of saying, I've not been able to play with my playmates. Because when you're playing with a station, what parents out there need to know is, most of these games are online. There are millions of people these people are competing with. Now that makes you know that for you to be rewarded, you need to check on this phone. How many likes do I have? How many comments have I gotten? These TikTok challenges, was mine liked better than Claire's? Before you know it, you're glued to the competitive world. It has tapped into your emotions. Your psychology is glued to that instant reward. The other bit I'll talk about is profiling. I talked about it earlier last time. That profiling is that technology is embedded with algorithms that actually feed and say, Theo, you like soccer. They will bring soccer-related videos for you. They will know Claire loves TikTok and loves culture things. They will give things that you like. So every time you go to these platforms, the only thing they do, they have already known your likes and dislikes. And the algorithms, their boots constantly profile you every time. You've watched Netflix. Netflix puts the category of films that you watch now and then into the same group. Every time you log in there, they've recommended something that you love. So most likely is that you will not actually put a stop. Now, me as an old man, I struggle not to, this fear of missing out comes in and I want to know what is happening on Twitter. What happens to a kid with TikTok that is more even entertaining, designed to have a grip onto their emotional, mental sides? How about them? And parents are buying and encouraging them. You create a TikTok account, it's boosting creativity. There are many ways to actually learn creativity. Take your child into a drama club. Take your child into a drama club, but in your church, make sure they go into choir and something. There's always something like that. Now, the other bit is the achievement that is also psychological. You've heard the bit of influencers, who the influencers are. It has even gone to the corporate world to believe that someone with the most following is the most influential. which to me, I have my reservations on it, yet I'm a marketer. Now, the bit that when I grow my TikTok account, I'm going to grow to be an influential person. Now, forgetting that the demands of the global world do not actually align with the demands of our family values. And to me, that's where the crisis is. Because us as parents have not set those values to guide these kids on, as they interact with these digital platforms. How do they interact with them? What are they looking for? They were looking for pressure, they're looking for approval, they are looking for gratification, and technology has been designed to tap exactly into your emotions. That's the reason why you cannot even wait to drive 20 minutes to your office without checking your WhatsApp messages. And that is what technology is doing, tapping into our emotions, and it's crucial. Before I drop to that, I will give you something some research that I'm going to read here. And these are people who have designed technology, the Steve Jobs of the world. Steve Jobs was well known to be one person who was very strict about usage of technology for the kids. Actually didn't allow his own to interact with these social media platforms. TikTok owner does not allow his own kids until they're of age 16 to be on TikTok. Go back to Bill Gates, who says that I regulate my kids to have 90 minutes a week to be on technology and social media. Then there is, that is the Snapchat CEO. For Mark Zuckerberg, for him, he monitors everything that his child puts on social media, strictly Instagram, to make sure that there is nothing personal. How many of us monitor that? Now, these are people who have developed these technologies, but they are putting means to make sure that screen time is limited. Interaction with these devices is limited. As parents who are buying them, giving them money, making them rich, and richer through advertisement and buying these platforms, we are looking at it as the only thing, cool thing. Ask yourself, how long does a child spend on that phone in your home? How long does your child spend on that TV in your home? Yet the owner and the maker has put means to make sure that in his homes, that is not done. Actually, all those that I've mentioned, go ahead to sign nanny agreements with their nannies, their house helps, their digital usage agreements in their homes. That when they are not there, these house helps sign an agreement that my child will not watch this. How many of us have that in our homes? So, wow. That's what technology does.
That's the next one
basically.
I'm going to introduce at home. Let me take it up from you, Doctor.
So
thank you, Owen.
When Owen was speaking, I saw the sympathy, the zeal with which Owen was speaking. And I want to tell you, ladies and gentlemen watching us, that nothing changes if nothing changes.
True.
Nothing changes if nothing changes. So if we don't take a step of creating a possibility towards the welfare of our children, we are the culprits to the future of their well-being. Because look, a situation is happening like this, and the child is getting into a dependence, so much so that he or she forgets the type of food you're giving to her. She actually doesn't know that it's whatever, beans or meat or whatever, so for her she's just eating. And you see, the brain feeds on what we give it. So even when the child is eating, the mind is feeding on a cartoon, not food. And what is entering into the body is toxic, even when she or he is eating food. See, for example, when you get this water, and you are here with the water, you're creating a possibility with the water. And when you drink it, the body receives it as water. same thing happens. Even as adults, how much more do we relate with whatever we are doing apart from watching, apart from relating with social media? And that is why we are getting a lot of conditions, by the way. Don't get surprised if you look at cancer increase, if you look at brain damage, at tumors of the brain. This is because we are feeding the body with toxin. And it happens to us as old people. What about a child? How much more toxin is the child feeding on? And as I said previously, media is very good at information.
Yeah.
How much we feed is very important for the child's growth. Now, viewers, let us face this correctly. And let us not postpone. Because future brings fear. Past brings stress. Let us live in the present. I was at the university, and when I got out, I found a boy. It was a group of boys, about 3, 5 to about 12. And the boy fell down. Another boy came running and stepped on his back, like running and stepping on the back. This could be as a result of a cartoon that has been watched in the night.
Correct.
So what I did, I grabbed the boy and I took the boy to the teacher because they were coming from school. If I had not done that, I wouldn't have forgiven myself. The future of our children, when it deteriorates, we shall not forgive ourselves.
Very true.
And that's it. And when are we supposed to begin? Now. Now, not postponing.
Yeah.
Today and now.
Wow, thank you very much. I think I have a lot to learn from you. So I consider myself blessed. So would you please share with us how parents can recognize the signs of addiction?
Wow. There is something we call dict-to-addiction scale. The dict-to-addiction scale, and this even used in other, by the way, drugs of abuse, to weigh how someone is addicted, the level of addiction. And for a parent out there, you ask yourself, let's say I'll put quickly around 8-10 questions. And they all rotate around the physical effects, psychological effect, and emotional effects that these tools of devices have on your child. Now, the first one is, for example, how often is your child neglecting duties given to them in favor of these screens and gadgets? For example, there is homework. I will actually use one of the most essential one, food. How often does your child prefer to be on their favorite cartoon than eating? Now, the dict-to-addiction scale has 1 to 4. Now, usually you go to, I want to bring it out clear here, the scales. There is never, rarely, sometimes, often, and always. Now, the scale starts from 0. That's where the never is. Then the last one is 4, which is always. Now, you go in teaching yourselves. I'll read just a few so that I'm faster forward. Number 1, time spent on devices. And you ask yourself, and I want you to personalize. I spend more time using devices than intended. Now, you ask yourself, you answer, never, rarely, sometimes, often, or always. The second one, priority of screen time. I often prioritize screen time over spending time with family, friends, and participating in physical activities. Now you still go back and ask never, often, or rarely, sometimes, always, up to those different yards. The other bit is emotional response to device restrictions. When you talk to your child and say, I'm taking away this phone, how do they respond? And the question you can answer is, I become upset, anxious, angry when digital devices are taken away or restricted from me. Now, when you're answering that and you see those happening at that scale of never, always, usually, or often, then you get to know that where your child falls or where you yourself falls. The other one is what we call compulsive use. I frequently feel the urge to check my phone device notifications, even during meals, conversations, driving, and important events. You're on a dinner date with your girlfriend, but you find instead of chatting with this person you've invested money in, but you're on your phones. Your child is on a day outing, other kids are playing, but they are sticking to your phone. Now, that is passive use. The other question that you can, neglecting responsibilities, I talked about that. Someone has to do home chores and then homework, but they prefer to first finish the cartoon. Now, you ask yourself such questions that are in our day-to-day. They might not be specifically this, but you have to tap all the other three aspects of physical, emotional, and psychological. Social isolation. I prefer interacting with friends and others online rather than face-to-face and social activities due to usage of what I was saying. You have a group of kids at home. All of them have come. Christmas is coming anytime soon. But your child is the one who is isolating himself to be on the phone. There is something wrong. Sleep disruptions. I often stay up late, wake up in the middle of the night to use digital devices, affecting my sleep quality. This happens to many, even old ones, where they find that in the middle, you know there is something that has happened, but what is Claire saying? You go back. Then the other one that I can quickly go is physical symptoms. I have eye problems, I have headaches, I have back pains due to overuse of technology. Now, the other bit that is when you're going to that dependency level, usually when we want to do cut breaks, that detoxification, and you say, I have tried to reduce time spent on digital devices, but I've been unsuccessful. Now, when your answer is yes or no, then you know that you're going beyond the level. Now, yes, when you come to those effects that I've talked about, and you answer them yes or no or regularly, then you get to know. Now, the scale says you're either on a low risk of digital addiction, and there you continue monitoring your screen time. Or the other one, you're on moderate risk. Remember the stages? Moderate risk, and there you consider now starting to limit. When your answer is moderate, then high risk, then that means that you're at the step of where your dependency, all you need is detox. Get your phone, remove notifications, get off social media, withdraw these PlayStations. The last one is severe digital addiction. In that moment where you find that people go to relapse, you've seen people have committed suicide because their devices have been withdrawn. They've lacked sleep, anxiety, and mental health issues come in there. So when you've done that, as a parent, you must monitor some of those questions now and then for yourself, but also for your child, so that you get there as many questions as that. And I think we shall get time even dig deeper into them. To me, that's the quickest way that you can do the digital addiction scale and ask yourself those questions that are genuinely to you and weigh yourself.
Wow. Wow, thank you very much, Owen. Our time is already spent. I think I will get your parting shots or your final remarks on this, and then we will close the show.
So thank you very much, Claire. I'm so delighted to be here today and this evening. And I'd like to say, viewers, that it's the high time that we acted. This is the right time for us to act on our families, our communities, our world. We are out there to be who we are because we are parents and we have to take care of our children because they're still transiting, and we have to make sure that a child is built in a transition of a human, not a robot.
Wow. Thank you. Owen, your parting shot? My
parting shot is that our parent out there, our mandate remains that our role is to train our children in the way they should go, so that when they grow up, they may not depart. That's a biblical principle for every parent out there. And quickly, there's a few things you can do. One, set rules for your home on how to use digital TVs or digital screens or devices. Second, I don't see any reason why a child below 14 or even 16 should have a smartphone. Because the basis of doing that, smartphone increases the bit of access to this digital risk. Then lastly is that portray the best example for your children. When you send your child to go and play with their fellow kids, you also take part of that, because they will look at it as a punishment. You're withdrawing devices, but you yourself, you're on devices 24/7. Then the other bit is take advantage of parental control tools. They're in your phone. Google Family Link is in your phone for Android users. Apple Screen Time is in your phone for Apple phones. Get into those tools before you hand over this device to your child. Go in, set the time they need to be on this phone. When it's done, your phone will tell you it's done.
Wow.
And don't fall prey for the emotions of kids. When they've reached that stage, they are already gone. You need actually to be more worried on how to take them back to a point where you withdraw the phone and they are not impulsively reacting towards it. May God bless you, and it can be done.
Thank you very much, Owen. I think that's where we're going to start from, the last Friday of next month.
Yeah.
But quickly, let me get Tama Sembiro from the Family Hour TV show. Briefly, she says the great advancement of technology is here, that we cannot run away from it. Unfortunately, this has led to excessive and unhealthy attachment to the digital world. Smartphones are not the increase, and there is a terrible addiction of wanting the latest model video games, even for our babies. Social media platforms, and now the streaming services everywhere, making life so sophisticated. All this affecting all of us, including our children, which is our focus on our discussion today. Thank you very much. I read it because I wasn't able to read that last Friday, so today I had to. Thank you very much, the Family Hour TV brand ambassadors, for sharing your ideas. You viewer out there, you can also reach out to us and share your ideas, support us, and give us business. The Lord bless you. See you again next Friday, same time, same place. Good night.
Good night.
Family Hour, empowering families.